What do you do when you have no money but you own a home? Well, the financial advisors will tell you that the best thing to do is to pull as much equity as you can out of the home because housing prices always rise. Nothing bad ever happens in the housing market, they say. Where have I heard that one before? You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Let's get into it right away. Are houses ATMs again? Cash out share of all refis hits pre-crisis levels. So you will see the housing crisis, and afterward, we notice that this has surged to a level it hadn't been in approximately a decade. That's not a good sign because ultimately people need that money. People feel wealthy. They feel that their house is an ATM. This is a topic I've covered regularly, and unfortunately, it's a trend that is continuing. It's not just in the US, it's in many places. I see it all the time in Canada. And you look around, and people feel that housing prices are going to continue to rise and interest rates are going to remain low because the reasoning here is that they wouldn't increase interest rates or stop money printing because they know it will crash the system. So they'll be our friends and they'll make sure everything stays status quo. Well, I think we need to come to terms with reality. As interest rates rise, fewer households refinance their mortgages, and refinances that do get done are often very different than those initiated during low rate periods. All right? Talks about the fact that people want to be able to cash out. That's what's happening today. So check this out. Cashing out is shorthand for taking out a new mortgage that's bigger than the remaining balance on the old one, and using that money will make up the difference so they can have their discretionary purchases. Okay, what is this talking about here? Well, you basically cash out on that equity and use it to buy maybe a vacation home, maybe a car, maybe vacations, who knows? But essentially, taking out all that equity. All right? This isn't a good sign, especially when you look at this. As of the fourth quarter of last year, the share of all refinances that were cash outs rose to the highest since 2008. That's according to Freddie Mac. Big problems ahead. Despite all-time highs in stock and home prices, household net worth is down for all income groups except for the top 10%. Well, does that ever surprise anybody? Look, even if you are in that top second tier, we'll say 80 to 89.9%, you are actually worse off today than you were. And that's not a good sign at all. US median family net worth income percentile comparing 2007 to 2016, it is not a good situation. Why? We've had real estate prices increase, equity prices increase. We have seen relative stability. So what? What is it? I guess a lot of the people out there, maybe you feel wealthy. Maybe you're part of that top 10%. Excellent. Congratulations. Something's going on here. U.S. public debt has nearly tripled, and the Fed has less room to cut interest rates. All right, there are basically two things that a government can do in order to get the economy moving again, or at least this is what they say. They can use the stimulus type packages, TARP, for example, or they can use their friends at the Fed. And the Fed has their own two methods, and that is interest rates and money printing. During the financial crisis, they implemented everything, every single possible method that they could to backstop the failure. Didn't do very well. All right, U.S. public debt. As of March 2007, it was $5 trillion. March 2018, so just about a decade later, you are looking at triple the amount. March 2007, the Fed funds, 5.25%. If they put the interest rates up to 5.25%, it would completely crush the economy, and they know that. That's why it is, as of March 2018, 1.68%. There's no possible way that they could ever get anywhere near 5.25% without causing a major crisis. I've shown you this before, but essentially the CBO projects the federal debt will be 1.5 times the size of the US GDP by 2047. It's looking quite far out there, and of course that doesn't factor in any crisis along the way. You know where it's headed regardless, and that's all we need to really focus on. Is it going to get worse? The answer is yes. Okay, then you just plan accordingly. Doesn't matter if it's, happens in 2040 or 2050 or just make a plan according to where you see that trajectory. Major central banks' total assets, $1 trillion, and you will see this here, showing you similar charts before. Look at what happened during the financial crisis. You saw it spike up. More money was created in this very, very short period of time than all the years prior to it. But now look at the difference between that little, at the time, this was extreme. It was so extreme. But you compare it to what we're seeing today, it's nothing. It looks like nothing today. That's not a good sign, all right? Not many good signs in this video. Personal interest payments versus bank prime loan rate. So you'll see this here. Comparing these two, and I would just say that the average individual, first of all, is in debt. The rates at which they borrow at are not going to be anywhere near prime. Of course, that affects everything, but you need to look at what people are really paying, and that is their credit cards. They are basically taking as much debt on as they possibly can. They're following their governments who do the exact same thing. And let us not forget the corporations also following along. Non-financial corp business liabilities and non-financial corp business liabilities as a percentage of GDP. Take a look at that. Extreme in such a short period of time. This is data as of the end of 2017. All right. Bankrate's latest financial security index survey. All right, look at this. 34% of American households experience a major unexpected expense over the past year. All right, 34%. However, only 39% of survey respondents said that they would be able to cover a $1,000 setback using their savings. So in the last year, the same percentage of people essentially are going to get screwed over this year when they have those unexpected expenses. While tapping savings to pay off an emergency was the most common response, more than a third of Americans would sink into one type of debt or another, potentially harming their financial security. Not looking good. Consumer loans, credit cards. Look at what has happened just in a very, very short period of time, going absolutely hockey stick parabolic. 13-week annualized percentage change. People are using their credit cards more now than ever. You could see some sort of deleveraging that was occurring during the financial crisis, and I do believe that that was largely the cause of a lot of bankruptcies. People were walking away from their homes. People were giving up on a lot of their, things that they were trying to consume. Everything was fine, and one day it wasn't. revolving consumer credit and monthly changes. This is basically credit cards here. In nominal terms, you'll see how this has truly become such a burden, over $1 trillion worth in the US. But have no fear, because despite the fact that savings rates have gone down extremely, you don't need to worry, because consumer confidence is up, and that's all that matters. Consumer confidence, it's such a wonderful thing because it means absolutely nothing. All right, and last but not least, just want to finish off with this. You're looking at the Housing Finance at a Glance. This is from Housing Finance Policy Center of Urban Institute. If you want to see some really good charts, and I'm talking about a lot of charts, you have to be willing to read quite a few here. This is on urban.org. Definitely scroll through if I can just show you quickly. I mean, there are so many in here. I was going to do a video, but where do I begin in this thing? You can see just right here, value of the U.S. housing market, size of the U.S. residential market, going in, private label securities by product type, agency mortgage-backed securities. It just goes into everything. And if I just scroll, you can see how many different charts there are. If you want to know what's happening with the housing market in relation to it, definitely check this out, okay? The links will be in the sources. You can just go to sources and go there, or you can just go to urban.org and it should be there for you to see. So that's all for this video. If you found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a thumbs up, it helps to support this channel. So I do appreciate that very much. This channel is approaching 99,000 subscribers, and soon, hopefully, we can get to 100,000. If you want to be part of those individuals that cross that line of 100,000, I hope that you would hit that subscribe button. All you gotta do is hit that button. I do videos every single day, basically, so you can get updates on everything that's happening with the financial system. Definitely hit that subscribe button. Please give me a thumbs up. And last but not least, if you found this video informative, I know that you will find my books, The Money GPS, and my newer release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. You can actually flip through these books. If you go over to Amazon, there's a look inside feature. It will allow you to flip through the pages of these books to see if you like them. Take care.